every year we talk about our Trust Team Appreciation and Recognition Program. This is one of those initiatives that we have put together over the years to help you as an organization to improve your safety and risk management programs. And we want to reward you for those things. That's part of being a member of the trust is we give money back if you're doing the things that will help prevent those losses that we see. It'll keep your people safe and keep you out of legal trouble and those types of things. And that's really what we want to talk about today. Every year we take a look at those programs that we build and say, how are we doing on those? Are they working? Are they doing what we want them to do? And most importantly, are our members of the trust being successful? Are their staff avoiding injuries? Are we going the right direction? And so each year we look at that and then we say, what does our program need to be? Where do we need to tweak it to help those members succeed? So let's take a quick look at our 2020 performance and say, how are we doing? And by we, I mean all of us, all of those local government agencies around the state who partner with the trust for your insurance coverage and your loss prevention, your risk management support as well. So let's take a look at the overall. These are all of the different lines of insurance that we have at the trust that many of you participate in. We stack these up to see how are we doing on the total number of claims over time. And I have to put a little caveat in this that these are just raw numbers. Over this time period, we've added a lot of risk. What does that mean? We've added additional vehicles. We've added additional employees that are insured under workers' compensation. We've added a lot of property that is being insured as well. And so as we take a look at this, realize this isn't a rate. These are straight up claims. But I like to look at it this way just because we know that we're always growing at the trust. You are growing in your organization, the number of vehicles you drive, the number of staff, all of those things, we realize that. And so rates can be a little bit different. But when we look at our claims, we see a couple of things that are a bit concerning. As you can see here, our total claims kind of bottomed out in about 2020, and then we started going different direction. If we dial in a little bit, zoom in a little bit on this based on the type of exposure, here's the trust auto claims. Well, something happened in 2020. Well, we all know what happened in 2020. Things changed a lot on our auto claims. We were super stable on the auto claims. We were right just under 300 claims per year, and then 2020 hit and we kind of had a spike, and you can see what we're experiencing right now. Looking at the claims this morning, I didn't put 2024 on here, but we're already over 10% of last year's number after 1 month. And so that's a bit concerning as well. We look at our workers' compensation claims. In 2021, we had that inflection point as well. And so there's some concern that we have out there of, just what's going on. And so we look at things and we ask questions. And I think these are important questions for all of us to ask. Is our safety program, our risk management program, healthy? Is it effective? Is it doing what we want it to do? How do we stay on track? How do we get on track if we're not there? And who can help us to do that? These are important questions that I think every one of us should ask ourselves about our programs and just how effective we're going to be. And one thing was clear to us as we took a look at our losses, and that was we think we need to get back to some basics. There are a lot of things that we focused on over time. And I think sometimes we maybe forget some of the basic key things that will make your safety and risk management program function and be effective and really drive down the amount of accidents, incidents, injuries that you have with your staff. And that's a key value that we should all have, something that we want to strive for. And so what are those basics? Well, that's what we tried to sum up in our 2024 DSO and Team Appreciation and Recognition Program. You say, what's a DSO? Well, we're going to talk about that as well. But before we do, I want to talk about incentives for you. You guys, we baited you in here and we talked about grants and discounts, and that's definitely what this presentation is about today. They are incentives for you. We want to help you make these programs work and reward you for doing the right things. Because when you do the right things, we all win as an organization, as a trust. We are a partnership. We're not a big private insurance company out there. We exist for you. And so if you fail, we fail. If you're successful, we're successful. And so we're committed to providing some incentives for you. And some of you are here like, how do I get my money? And that's okay. Whatever brings you here, if we do the right thing, we're okay with that. The trust, like I said, puts its money where its mouth is. We have committed to provide you 5% of your general liability premium back in a check, and 5% discounting on your workers' compensation premium. That's serious money. For some of you out there, you take a look at the premiums that you pay, that's a pretty good chunk of money. But it pales in comparison to the real money that you'll save and other benefits as well, if we prevent those injuries from happening, if we prevent that car accident from happening, if we prevent that lawsuit from occurring because of something that we may or may not have been liable for. If we do those things, that's where the real money comes. But it's nice to get a check, and I get that. And sometimes we are able to fund some of these programs with that money. We take it and we invest it back into there. So that's something that the trust is committed. You do some things that will help prevent losses, and we will give you those grants and discounts back to help facilitate those things. And really, what does that look like? We want you to show us the good work that you're doing. Show us the things that you're doing, those basic things, right? I said back to basics. What are the basic things that are required to have an effective safety program? So let's talk about the DSO. I said that's called the Designated Safety Officer. It's become abundantly clear to us that we have to have somebody in each organization who owns the safety program. We call them Designated Safety Officer. You can call it whatever you want. That's the term that we've decided to use, is the Designated Safety Officer, who's really the champion of the safety program to ensure that it's happening. That doesn't mean they do all the work, but they definitely need to make sure the program is moving forward. Their goal is really to reduce accidents and incidents and control costs. Now, you guys are like, well, you're talking a lot about costs, and that's definitely part of it. But at the end of the day, we have to realize that accident, the dollars that are cost for that accident really equate to pain for one of our people. And at times it can be significant. The potential is really big for that. So let's make sure that that's the goal, as well as our DSOs are working to prevent those incidents so our people go home safe at night. And at the end of the day, the byproduct of that is, hey, we save money as well. So who's the DSO? It's whoever you pick. And what we are looking for is to have your chief executive officer, whatever their title may be, to designate somebody to be that central figure to make sure the program is working. Quarterback the implementation, just make sure the safety committee is meeting. Are we actually investigating our incidents that happen? Are we doing the basic things that will prevent losses, and if something happens, make sure that we're effectively managing those losses and the details around those. Okay. And to keep management up to date is also a big part of that. So how to become a designated safety officer? Well, it's pretty easy. Just have your executive officer, chief executive designate that person. You probably already have one. We have well over 100 designated safety officers who have signed up and told us they're the DSO for their organization. Um, get some training if you don't have that. If you've already done an OSHA 10 course, that's a pretty good basic level of training, and that's part of the reason we provide those around the state, are to help our DSOs understand what the regulations are and the basics of putting programs in place to comply with those and to keep our people safe. And then we provide some other resources. We do quarterly Designated Safety Officer Association meetings. So we're working together and learning from each other, and sharing the information that we have learned and what's been effective on that. That's as hard as it is to be a DSO. All right. Then we have our Team Appreciation Recognition Program. Like I said, this changes from year to year. This is this is our grant program, and it changes from year to year. Here are the 2024. I'm going to lose my voice. We're doing an OSHA 10 course tomorrow. That's not a good time to lose my voice for the next 2 days, since we'll be talking a lot. So 2024 TARP requirements. Designated safety officer. Most of you have already done that. We've got a good chunk out there that have a DSO in place and functioning, and then put together a safety basics program. And a lot of these you already have in place. So let's look at safety basics. Here's a big giant list. Don't get too panicked on this. This is a big list of things that are basic components of a safety program. What makes them work? The ones in red are the ones that we want you to report on, and those are the requirements for the incentive program for our grant program this year. And so we'll spend the time on those. But incentive programs, safety committee, incident review, return to work program, and facility inspections. Those are the real key elements, and you can see some of those really dovetail together. We fleshed them out there, but the safety committee does the incident review. And then there are some others that are the extra credit. These are things that ought to be happening, and we want to focus on those, and we'll be talking about those. And chances are they will probably be part of the Team Appreciation and Recognition Program going forward in future years, because we think they are essential as well. Okay, Mike, I've rolled a lot of stuff out. Do we have any questions or comments on there yet? I'm not able to see those.
Nope. You're rolling through well.
Okay. All right. So incentive programs, we've focused a lot on this the last probably 5 or 6 years on incentive programs. And we think they're important because our team needs to be aware and they need to be engaged in the safety program. If our team isn't all on board with the program, well, our chances of success in preventing those accidents go down. So we want to have everybody aware and engaged. So how do we do that? We would like you to have an incentive program in place. What does that look like? We found that team-based works really well. So that could be a department or other teams that you decide on, and take these teams and set some goals and say, this month we want to prevent accidents, so that could be part of it. We also want to ensure that everybody does training. We have a specific training goal, a certain topic that we're going to do. And by the end of the month, if you want to be a part of the incentive program and get whatever the incentive is, you need to do these things. It could be other things as well that we throw in as part of that program. Every department does their facility inspection. Everybody goes out and does an inspection, and we correct the hazards that we find there. We set the goals and we talk to everybody about it. And we pump it up a bit and say, we believe in safety. And so this month, this is what we're doing. And at the end of the month, if we meet all of our goals, then we're going to have a barbecue. Or then we're going to everybody will get a $10 gift card, or whatever the incentive is that you decide as an organization works best. we encourage you to not do too much when it comes to an incentive program. Sometimes that lunch as a group or that small gift card is just enough, but it's not enough to make people focus too much on the incentive and not as much on preventing those things. And sometimes there are occasions where people would be tempted to maybe not report something. Let's make sure that we balance that out. So it's definitely worse to not report an incident than it is to miss out on that gift card. And that's why we say a small amount, a barbecue, a luncheon, something like that is a great way to incentivize people at the same time, not costing a ton of money and not incentivizing people to push stuff under the rug as well. We think it's important that we focus less on if something is preventable on an accident than it is just if we have an incident, we need to get that awareness out there. So that's part of it. We're not going to worry about preventable or not. Let's put that in our report and let everybody know we had an incident. Here's what happened, and here's how we can prevent that happening again. Awareness is the key when it comes to incentive program. Spent a lot of time on that one. I got to keep moving so I stay on track. Safety committee. Like I said, the designated safety officer is a key individual in the safety program working, but that person doesn't do everything. If we put all the onus on that DSO, we probably won't be successful. Just because one person can't do everything. We need to have a safety committee put together that meets regularly. What's regularly? I would say regularly is monthly. Now, I would not go beyond a quarterly, and I think monthly is probably the sweet spot where we get together, and that could be a normal meeting that we have. Maybe we have a department head meeting every week. We take one of those per month, and we dedicate that to safety and reviewing accidents that have happened and running through our performance. So all of our department heads could be safety committee members, or you could take it a different way. We could take people from different occupations. They don't have to be management. That's up to you how you put the safety committee together, but they need to be an important part of how the organization functions. And so they should have executive support. The boss should be either chairing that or for sure seeing the minutes and giving them support. Need to meet regularly, set goals and report on those with management. How did we do? Well, last year we had 3 accidents, and this year we had 2. So we had a good one there. But more importantly, everybody did all of their training all year long. And look at the metrics. What are the things that will help us as an organization? Okay. And once again, I come back to this. These are the basics. These are the things that each organization should be doing to help your program move forward and prevent those incidents. Part of that is looking at what did happen, incidents and near misses, and reviewing those and identifying why did it happen. Ask why till it hurts, and then come up with an effective corrective action and push that throughout the organization. That's the safety committee's role more than anything, is to review those incidents and make sure that we don't have something repeat, or if it's a near miss, that the next time it doesn't end up being something really bad because we prevent it. All right, return to work is a major part of this program. When people are injured in a work-related accident, it goes through the workers' compensation system, and depending on how that incident is handled, or the severity of the incident as well, it can really impact the amount of premium that you pay for your workers' compensation. There's this word that you may have heard floating out there of EMOD. It stands for the Experience Modification Factor, and it's just like a credit score. If I have a EMOD of 1, I am completely average, which is good. If I have an EMOD below 1, I'm going to pay less in my premiums. If my EMOD is above 1, I'm going to pay more in my premiums. Well, there are things that we can do to affect that EMOD. And one of those is getting people back to work as soon as possible after they're injured. Now, we realize that sometimes there's a severe injury. If you have a shoulder surgery, that's a pretty tough injury to heal from. And you probably have some time off of work. The things that we're really looking at is there an opportunity to get people back to work within 3 days after the incident occurs? Now, we hope that we have them back before then, but there's a statutory limit there that if we go beyond 3 days, that's where it starts to hit your EMOD. And there's a massive increase in the impact because it is a lost time case. And so how do we deal with that? Well, it's either human resources or your designated safety officer, who may be one and the same. Somebody needs to own this program and ensure that we are actively working to get people back to work. A lot of times, by the time the trust hears about the injury happening, it's already, I told Mike this morning, the horse is out of the barn. We've already gone beyond those 3 days, and we've missed our opportunity to really control those costs. And so having a policy in place, and we have a nice boilerplate policy, it's one page, put your name on it and follow it, and you're good to go. Take those, take that and adopt it, and then just go to work and get these people back to work as soon as we can. Now, we want to make sure that we're not doing anything that would re-aggravate or make their injuries worse, and that we need to look at their restrictions and accommodate those things. But let's get them back to work, because that's a simple thing. People are being productive, and at the same time, we're able to control our costs. All right. Facility inspections are also really important parts of a safety program, getting out there and looking at our facilities. And so this is the last of those required parts of the TARP program, Team Appreciation and Recognition Program, is to look at your facilities on a regular basis. I would say at least quarterly, but my recommendation would be monthly on that. And have each department go out and take a look and document it. Now, of course, fixing any hazards that we identify in those is an important part of it. And we also have some boilerplate inspection forms that we'll send out to everybody that signed up for this presentation. These are the major things that we're looking at in TARP. And you say, well, how do I go about getting my TARP grant money back? Well, we will be sending out a link where you can go into a web form and just show us the good things that you're doing. If you're doing these things, you'll click on that form, and you will have an opportunity to put in there a description. Here's what we do. Our safety committee meets once a month, and here's who is part of that. And then there's a place where you can upload a copy of the minutes from your last safety committee meeting. It's as simple as that. Show us the good things that you're doing. Tell us how often your safety committee is meeting together, so we can look at that and know that you have your programs in place. So we go back to those things. What were they? Safety committee, incident review, return to work, and facility inspections. Those are the major portions of that, and the required portion of the Team Appreciation and Recognition Grant Program. Okay. All right. I've said a lot of stuff, Mike. Anything else come up there? I see a number 2 on that, but I can't see what the chats are.
The question was, I apologize, but I'm not sure I understand exactly how are these incentives for us?
Okay. How are they incentives? Well, we give you money. we give you a check, including 5% of your liability premium back, and we give you discounting of 5% of your workers' compensation premium. And so a lot of our members over the years have taken this money, the check that we give you back, and they've rolled those back into these things. For example, the incentive program. They have taken that money and funded the incentive program. So it really is a balance of, you can balance the program out And then on the other side, you get the upside of all of that. If we prevent accidents, well, your employees are gonna be back to work, or not leave work, right? If we prevent it, we're not gonna lose their time. We're not gonna have the major cost increases on premiums. So that's the positive side of those things. But what you do with that grant money is really up to you. Did that cover it, Mike? I'm not sure if I.
Yeah. Uh, he just said that's what I figured. I was late to the meeting. Thank you.
Perfect. Okay. Looks like there's a couple other that popped up there. Anything I need to?
Just about recording the DSO meetings. That yes, we do record the DSO meetings,
Yeah.
and send those out after to all our DSOs once we're done with those.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we do those live in person as well as over a Zoom meeting at the same time. And we've done those remotely. We've done them broadcasts from down in the St. George area, and we do those from here at the Trust. So we have an opportunity to get together in person, or just get the information as over online as well. So great questions. There are some other things that we had on that list, and I'm going to breeze through those pretty quickly, just based on the amount of time that we have here. Safety training,
Jason, real quick. I'm gonna just before you skipped over the facility inspections one. Those of you, I mean, there are some of you here who are using our MyTrust mobile application, and that is still available. That's still there for you to do your facility inspections in. We encourage you to do them there. It's a fantastic resource, and we're hoping here in the next few months that we have uploaded into that system these checklists that we're going to send you out. So you'll just have access to those right at your fingertips, so you can send to your guys or your team or your folks out in the field. Hey, we need you to do this. Here's your form. Go and fill it out. Then there's visibility all throughout the organization of these have been done and this is what has been documented.
Yeah, thanks for that catch on that, Mike. Definitely, MyTrust is there. We probably focus that, at least at the current time, will be on the DSOs and maybe one person in each organization. But as we roll out the online inspection forms that are more checklist type, that's definitely a resource that you want to utilize. And that's just MyTrust Mobile. You can go to your app store or Google Play and search for it, and it'll have the Trust logo and that on there. You can download it. But to get access to it, send us an email. You can send it to Jason at Utah Trust or Mike at Utah Trust, and we will get you access. You can download the app, but to get access to the safety portion of that, we have to sign you up there. Okay. Good stuff. Safety training. We believe in safety training. You know that. We do a lot of it. We want to see what your plan looks like. Now, like I said, this is not the required portion. We would love if you wanted to share that with us as well. Have you built a plan for each of your job descriptions? What kind of training is required for each different staff member, and are you documenting those things? Those are pretty key steps. We have a lot of resources to help you with that. In addition to our webinars, we have Streamery, Cantola, and also our online training, as well as our in-person training. We do regional training around the state. We provide a ton of resources to help you out in putting that together. But at the end of the day, your training plan is unique to your organization, and you need to build that around the risks that you have and your staff. Law enforcement. Obviously, this is a major concern for us in the risk world when it comes to law enforcement, for obvious reasons. Everybody that's watched the news knows that law enforcement is an extremely challenging line of work. We appreciate our law enforcement officers so much for what they do, but they take a lot of heat for a lot of things. And some of the ways that we can prevent losses with them, we can protect those officers in the things that they do, is one, by having good policy, having a service doing a legal review on policies. So if the unthinkable happens, we have an officer involved shooting, or we have some other significant event that happens, they can be assured that they've been trained, the policies are good, and that the officers were trained on that. So we can check some of those boxes and then get down to the details of that. That's a pretty key thing. To support that, the trust has become a partner with ABLE. That stands for Active Bystandership for Law Enforcement. This is a nationwide program out of Georgetown University, and Utah Local Governments Trust has brought that to the state, and our goal is to train every law enforcement officer in the state on being an active bystander, taking action if they see something that's not right, and being able to make that right. And so those are parts of the law enforcement program, as well as accreditation, and we will reimburse the cost of accreditation for your program as well. Driver qualification. You saw that auto claim chart, and year over year, auto claims are one of the major drivers of our cost at the trust and your cost as an organization. We have about 15,000 vehicles that are driving around the state, and that's a lot of risk. And so things that we can do about that are making sure that we have good drivers, making sure that we are qualifying drivers for the type of driving that they're going to be doing. Once again, we have a simple one-page boilerplate policy on that, and we want everybody to participate in the MVR program. That's the Motor Vehicle Records Program. We will send you out each month a report showing all of your drivers' driving record, the number of citations that on their record, but more importantly, do they have a valid driver's license? And then you can take that information and look at the citations and do a good job in training and qualifying these drivers to do their job. Does it mean that we're making people not drive? Well, occasionally, but in most cases, it just gives us an opportunity to coach those drivers and help them along. Just an FYI, if you do have auto coverage through the trust, that is a requirement of the coverage, is that you participate in the MVR program. And so if you're not doing that, talk to Mike or myself, and we can get you set up on that. If you haven't updated your driver list in a while, get us a list of those drivers. If you're sending in new drivers, just send their driver's license number. We don't want names or birth dates or expiration or anything like that. Send us a list of driver's license numbers, and we will update those. If you need to take drivers off of that program, send us their names. No driver's license numbers, just for all these things for data security. Send us their names, and we'll take them off the list. All right. Sewer programs. Sewers are one of those areas that has been a perennial cause of loss, and it's one of those things that probably makes people madder. If you're a homeowner and your basement is full of raw sewage, that has a tendency to make people about as mad as they can get. And so there are some simple things that you can do to reduce the risk of sewer backups and overflows. And one of those things is manhole inspections. We would love to see how you're doing on that, and love to present that program to you. Also, we'd like you to participate in the sewer survey. We've got that out right now, and we still have a good chunk of our members who haven't submitted their sewer survey. So we're going to be chasing you down for that. And then we'll let you know how you're performing as compared to other agencies in the state that have sewer collection exposure. And so you can really determine, how are we doing? Are we good, bad, somewhere in between, and really direct the type of interventions that you're doing there around those data. Okay. And then the Trust Aquatics program. This is Mike's forte here. Mike each year goes out and puts together a very detailed program to help your aquatics program prevent drownings. And that's what it's really about, to ensure your staff is trained up, that your facilities are safe, and we avoid those really terrible things that could happen in that aquatics program. And so Mike does the risk assessments and the staff skills review. It's a great program. Mike, anything you want to say on aquatics while we're running out of time?
Nope. Just that I'll be coming around to do those again this year. Thank you for everyone for your participation in this. If you have an aquatics program, if you have a swimming pool, this is another one of those requirements of insurance with the trust, is that you go through this program, and it works. It saves lives. So we'll keep going with it.
Absolutely. Awesome. All right. I have a few more slides just on the resources that Trust has available. I think we've hit those quite a bit. Just realize that we have, we don't throw this out there lightly and say, here's a bunch of stuff that you have to do. We back that up with boilerplates. We back it up with tools and resources to help you with these programs. These are really the basics. These are the important things that any organization should have in place to keep their staff safe and to avoid those big losses that can come. We want to reward you. We want to incentivize you to do the right thing. And so there's some good grant availability out there. It's not a small amount of money, and it's something that we think can really benefit your organization. Mike, what did I forget? How do we do?
No, it's great. I mean, I think you hit it right on the head with this. This is us just getting back to the basics. And a lot of you, like you said, Jason, a lot of you are doing this already. You're already doing a really good job in these areas. And we just want to see that good work that you're doing. And if you're not, don't feel bad. But this is a good time Jason and I are more than happy to help with however we can with getting the basics covered so you can get your money, your safety program, your safety committee meetings, doing incident investigations. And we'll have webinars, we'll have trainings, and Jason and I are happy to come out and help and do whatever we can to help you meet your goals. Because those are our goals too. We want everyone to get their money. And so we want to help you out there. So let us know. Hit us up and let us know how we can help.
Yeah. Awesome. The money's bait, right? We know once you start doing these programs or continuing them, improving those, if you've already got them in place, that you'll realize, hey, this is important stuff, and we are realizing the benefits from it. So the money that we're providing in the grant program, that's a little bit of bait to get you there. But once you're there, we know that you're going to find that, hey, this stuff works. And you're going to realize a lot of other benefits from this as well. So, okay, if you got any questions or comments, please type those in the chat box. For sure, if you don't want to type something in our chat box, talk to Mike or myself. We will be more than happy to chat about all of this stuff and what the requirements are. You can look forward to us sending out information to you. We will send we talked about the boilerplates and all of that, but as far as where you can respond to us, the web form, watch for that in the next just few days, and we'll have that available for you so you can work on that. Mike, anything?
Yeah, a question came through on what is the deadline for filling out for the TARP program, and do you put the reminders on the MyTrust dashboard?
I'm sorry. I didn't get. I'll start with the first one. The deadline. This really goes. We're looking at calendar year because that gives us enough time that your renewal for the next year, we've got time to look at those things before your next renewal. So most of you will be renewing here in the next month. And so last year we had different requirements. And so those, we've kind of gone past that. If you didn't get your goals in and all of that, please talk to us. If you're doing that, we don't want you to miss out on last year's grant money. But we do need that information in there for that. We're kind of a long way past where we wanted that information in. But for this program, the 2024 program, we're looking at calendar year. What was the second part of that question, Mike?
The second part, put reminders. Do we put these reminders in the MyTrust dashboard?
That's a great idea.
That is a great idea. And right now we're not.
Yeah.
But that is something that we want to integrate for sure.
That's an action item for us as well. For those of you that don't know what the MyTrust application or the website is, that's the portal that you can access your information with the trust. You can look at your policy information, the vehicles that you have insured, your buildings, and all of those things. There's a great place where you can have contact numbers for the trust, but also for your staff. And you can pay premiums and all of that through that application. And so there is a dashboard there, and that's an outstanding idea. And we'll take that as an action item to get that included in MyTrust. Okay. All right. Anything else, Mike?
Nope, that was it. That's all we got.
Thanks, folks. Appreciate that. I know that was a lot of stuff. We'd be happy to talk to you. Mike and I are going to be hanging out in St. George for the next couple of days doing OSHA 10, but one of the two of us will be not training at a given time. And so I'm sure we'll be able to answer some questions, send us emails, send us texts, and we'd be happy to help you out with that.
Thanks,
okay.
everyone.
Thanks, folks. Go out and have a safe day.